On the night of March 20th, 2021, a man called 911 in Strafford, Missouri. His voice was calm. He told the dispatcher he had just killed 3 people inside of his home. Not strangers, not intruders, his wife and her elderly parents. When deputies arrived, they found all 3 seated at a table. The reason he gave for killing them? They wouldn't leave. Strafford is a small town in Greene County, Missouri. It's quiet, rural, and unassuming. This wasn't the kind of place you'd expect to hear about a triple homicide. Inside one of the modest homes lived Jesse Huy, a 50-year-old husband. Living with him was his wife, Tonya Huy. And in March of 2021, Tonya's parents, Ronald and Linda Koehler, were visiting from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So what started as a family visit would end in tragedy. Reports later revealed that Tonya's parents had come to stay for about a week. It wasn't unusual. Families visit. Parents stay temporarily. But according to investigators, tensions began building inside the home. Jesse reportedly felt that the visit had dragged on too long. He told authorities he felt disrespected. He believed they were intruding. Most importantly, he believed his wife was siding with her parents, and that, in his mind, that crossed the line. There were no reports of violence leading up to that night. No 911 calls, no documented domestic disturbances, but something inside him escalated. On the evening of March 20th, Jesse Huy picked up a 9mm handgun. In the court documents, he shot each one of the victims twice in the head while they were seated at the table. There was no struggle described in official reports. No sign of forced entries, no chaotic scenes of confrontation. Just 3 family members killed inside a home they believed was safe. And then, Jesse called 911. He didn't flee. He didn't hide. He waited. When deputies arrived, he reportedly admitted to what he had just done. When questioned, Huy allegedly told authorities they wouldn't leave. He said he had been waiting for a week for them to go. He said he felt disrespected. He said he had had enough. That was the motive he offered. Not self-defense, not fear, frustration. Investigators later said he expressed that his wife's support of her parents added to his anger. To many observers, the motive felt shockingly disproportionate. A family dispute over a visit, ending in 3 lives lost. What makes this case unsettling isn't mystery. It's the ordinariness of the trigger. There was no elaborate plan uncovered, no secret double life, no criminal conspiracy, just a domestic grievance that escalated to irreversible violence. Psychologists often note that some individuals experience extreme reactions to perceived disrespect or loss of control. When someone feels their authority in their own space is challenged, especially if they lack healthy conflict resolution tools, resentment can build. But even then, the leap from anger to murder is profound. This case forces a disturbing question. How much anger was building beneath the surface? In October of 2022, Jesse Huy pleaded guilty to 3 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of armed criminal action. In January of 2023, he was sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole, plus additional time for the weapons charges. There would be no trial, no dramatic courtroom defense, just a guilty plea and life behind bars. The victims were remembered by loved ones as devoted parents and grandparents. Ronald and Linda have traveled across state lines to spend time with their daughter. Tonya lost her life inside her own home. The tragedy rippled across 2 states, Missouri and Louisiana, and it left behind a haunting simplicity. 3 people died over a family dispute that could have ended with a conversation or simply walking away. There are cases driven by greed, cases driven by obsession, cases driven by secrets. This one was driven by resentment. A week-long visit, a perceived slight, and a breaking point. A man who decided that anger justified the irreversible. The scariest part? There were no warning signs visible to the public. Just a quiet house in a quiet town until it wasn't.